Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Farabi Akma and I'm from Tembeng Putih Village, and now I'm 7th grade in English Education, University of Hamsan Wadi. And in this video, I will explain about my thesis proposal. The title is Implementing English Teaching Media, Dictionary, Box, and Card to Deep Student Vocabulary for EFL Learners. Okay, well, guys, we will go to the first slide. That is chapter first. For the first, we will talk about the background of the study. I will take the background for my study from Harmer 1983. That said that English language skills include four language skills. For the first, that is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And for we can master in the four skills, these four skill, we have to first have a basic for can master in four skills. That is vocabulary. According to Nation 1990, vocabulary that is receptive in nature is the ability to recognize word and remember the meaning of the word, and is also used in the ability to speak or write in the right time. And the correlation for my study with the vocabulary and the first skill in English is this is about deep student how to can remember and say it about the vocabulary, and on the method that can be used in learning English for deep student is by using visual media. This visual media can be created in the form of learning media such as dictionary, box, and card to help them memorize English vocabulary. That's the background of the study from my thesis proposal. And the next, about the focus of the study. I will take my focus for the study is will be focused on how to implement teaching media in the form of dictionary boxes and cards on the vocabulary of deep student for EFL learners at SLB 1 Islambok. The next, I can find for the problem of my for problem of the statement for my study. There is two problem. For the first, which teaching media is easy to implement for deep student vocabulary for EFL learners, because we know for deep student, I think there is a difficult and the different media with the normal student. And the second, the appropriate form in the form of implementation of teaching media, dictionary box, and cards by the teacher. And next, what the purpose of my study? The purpose from the study is one, introducing teaching media, that is dictionary box and cards to increase the vocabulary of the student for EFL learners at SLB1 Islambok. And second, for explain the appropriate form of implementation of teaching media, dictionary boxes, and card to EFL teacher. So for the first for the deep student, and the second for the teachers. The next about the significance of my study. For the first, to make it easier for deep student to improve their English vocabulary using the learning media, that is dictionary box and card. And second, to make it easier for EFL teachers to implement teaching media, dictionary box, and card for student for EFL learner. So for the first, that's for the deep student, and the second for the teacher. In the chapter 2 about the literature review, there is three about literature review from my study. For the first, about definition of teaching media. According to Alessi SM and Trolip SR in 2001, that teaching media are any number of instrument, platform, or technologies that are used to help student or learner acquire knowledge, ideas, or information during the learning process. And this media can take many different forms, including print media, audio visual media, and digital technology. And about the deep student vocabulary for EFL learners. According to Marsark and Spencer in 2000 and 2020, recent study emphasizes the value of visual method for deaf children language acquisition. English word meaning association are strengthened by the use of visual media like pictures, movies, and animation. And this method reduces the potential barriers by helping students connect words with ideas that are simpler to grasp. And the third, English teaching media, dictionary box and card. English teaching media, dictionary box and card is one of the teaching media which can make it easier for deaf students to memorize and understand English vocabulary in Indonesian. So I think this media can make the deep student easier the memorize and understand about the vocabulary in Indonesian because this is one of the teaching media use the visual. And according to Ellis in 2020, states that the use of vocabulary card in language learning has proven to be effective in improving student retention and communication skill. Yeah, especially for the deep students. Okay, about the relevant study. The first study which relevant and I'm sorry, this study relevant and into study before for the first study which relevant with this study by Jusmaniar Nonchi in 2002 entitled The Implementation of Visual Media in Teaching English Literacy to Deaf Students of 10th Grade at Small One Pangkep. And other research that is also relevant to this research by Sugeng Susilo Adi in 2017 entitled Teaching Special Students English Lesson for Deaf Student in Indonesian Special Junior High School. So I think this relevant with my study about the deaf student and the vocabulary or the teaching media. And the next about the theoretical framework, I take to theory for the first from the Alessi SM and Trolip SR 1001 that the dictionary box and card method mix of tactile, visual, and oral elements can help deaf pupils learn English vocabulary. And second, through the dictionary books and card concept integration of digital application of platform. The children can use technology to learn on their own. That from Gerguilio RM and book HE 2018. And the next about the research question because I will use the qualitative research in my for this study. And for the first, that is what teaching media is easy to implement for deep student vocabulary for EFL learners. And the second, what is the appropriate form of implementation of teaching media, dictionary box and card by the teacher for the first for the deep student and the second for the teacher. And now we'll talk the chapter 3. And for the first, we will talk about the research design. In this study, I will use a qualitative research designed with an experimental group and a control group to compare the effect of the dictionary box and card, where method on increasing English vocabulary for deep student. So the next and the first setting of this study, uh, this refers to the place and time to conduct a study. The study will be conducted in 2023 at East Lombok, one special school that is SLB1 East Lombok. And for the participant, there are 20 deep students at East Lombok, one special school or SLB1 Lombok Timur, who are divided into two, namely the experimental group and the control group. So I will different uh, for two group will be the two group. For the first, namely, is experimental group, and the second, control group, and who will recite learning using the dictionary books and card method. And the research variable from this study, for the first, there is independent variable, that is use of the dictionary box and card method. And the second variable, dependent variable, increase in English vocabulary in deep student. And about the research procedure, how I can do this research. One, the experimental group will recite English vocabulary training using the dictionary box and card method for a certain period. The second, the control group will recite a conventional English vocabulary learning during the same period. So, experimental group will be using the dictionary books, box, and card, and the control group will use the conventional learning. And the third, we will evaluation will be carried out before and after the interpretation using appropriate vocabulary tests. So there is a pre and post test. And the data collection, use of the dictionary box and card method, data regarding how this method is implemented, frequency of use, and experiences of student and educators in using the method. So there is three indicator. For the first, how to implement it, and frequency of the use and experience from the deep students. The second, vocabulary improvement measurement. Tests or evaluation results data before and after using the dictionary box and card. Using the dictionary box and card method to see differences in student vocabulary understanding. And the data analysis, for the step one, we will use descriptive statistic and increase it vocabulary before and after treatment. And this step two, comparative analysis between experimental and control group. This will be statistical test. And the step three, qualitative analysis of responses. This about the thematic analysis of responses. And the step four, interpretation of result or the conclusion. And the result and conclusion from my research in this study, for the first, about the significant vocabulary improvement. And there is 2 points. For the first, there is a significant difference in the increase in English vocabulary between the experimental group and the control group that followed conventional learning. Second point, the experimental group showed a higher and a significant increase in vocabulary comprehension compared to the control group. Um, and the second result is about the positive impact of the dictionary box and card method. Qualitative analysis of responses show that this method receive positive response from the student and educator. So about this method, I can check the result. There is positive result and positive response from the deep student and the educator, that's from the experimental group or the control group, and the educator also. And they use a card and visual content in this method is tough to help students understand and remember new vocabulary better. The third result, this implication in English language learning. There is 2 point also. And the first point, the result of this research indicate the dictionary box and card method has great potential in increasing the vocabulary of deaf student in the context of learning English as a foreign language. So this will support about the second result about the positive impact from this media, teaching media, that is dictionary books and card. And the second point in the third result, implementation of this method can be an effective approach in helping deaf students overcome obstacles in expanding their English vocabulary. So I think this is very useful. So for the first result, recommendation for learning method development. Based on the positive results obtained, it is recommended to further integrate and develop the dictionary books and card method with various variants that can adapt to individual needs and learning variation. And the conclusion from this research, this from my study, the, confirmed that the use of the dictionary box and card method provides a significant contribution in improving deep student understanding of English vocabulary in the context of learning English as a foreign language. And I think, yeah, that's all from me about explain. I explain about my thesis proposal. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.